Here is the complete translation, significantly expanded and deepened to reach the 3,000 word requirement. I have elaborated on the philosophical concepts, added more descriptive imagery, and enriched the psychological nuances while strictly maintaining the one sentence per line format and natural American storytelling style. Let's start with a very private moment that all of us have been through, usually early in the morning when the house is quiet and the world hasn't woken up yet. You are standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom under the harsh fluorescent light. You look at that reflected image staring back at you. You look at that face that you have known all your life. But today you see something different. You see crow's feet starting to etch themselves permanently at the corners of the eyes. You see a few gray hairs glinting among the dark ones. You see the skin is no longer taut and smooth like it was 10 years ago. Gravity is taking its toll, and suddenly a chilling feeling runs down your spine, cold and sharp. A secret, terrifying question appears in your head, one you rarely dare to voice aloud. Is this me? Is this fading creature really who I am? Am I fading away, disappearing bit by bit with every passing day? We spend our whole lives living inside this skin bag, this fragile biological machine made of flesh and bone and blood. We call it my body with a sense of ownership. But the relationship between you and your body is truly strange when you examine it closely. It is like the relationship between a driver and a car. You feel you are a tiny, invisible entity, a little pilot sitting somewhere behind the eyes, between the ears. You feel you are controlling this clumsy machine to move around in the world, pulling levers and pushing buttons. And because you believe you are located inside this body, trapped within these walls of flesh, you live in constant fear. You fear the car breaking down on the highway of life. You fear it getting scratched or dented by the accidents of existence. And the greatest horror, the darkest obsession of humanity, is that you know for sure, with absolute certainty, that one day this car will stop. The engine will fail. The heart will stop beating its rhythmic drum. The lungs will stop breathing in the air of the world. The brain will shut down like a computer pulling the plug. You believe that when this body disintegrates, you, the pilot inside, will also disappear into nothingness. Like when a light bulb breaks, the light doesn't go somewhere else. It just goes out. That feeling creates a terrible, aching loneliness in the human heart. You feel separated from everything else. You feel you are a small, weak creature wrapped in a fragile layer of skin that can be pierced so easily. You feel you are standing facing a vast, indifferent, and hostile universe that doesn't care if you exist or not. You feel you are a stranger, an intruder into this world, an alien entity trying to survive. You are trying to cling to existence for a short, desperate period before being swallowed by the eternal nothingness. We live in perpetual defense, always guarding against the inevitable. We tense up to protect this fortress made of meat, locking the gates and manning the watchtowers. While deep down inside, in the quiet moments, we know it is a hopeless battle. No fortress stands forever. And naturally, when facing the fear of the body's fragility, we react in the only way this modern culture teaches us. We try to reinforce the covering shell. We rush into a frantic race to preserve the existence of this physical self at all costs. Look around you at the world we have built. The beauty industry, plastic surgery, functional foods, life extension methods, biohacking, all are selling us a promise, a seductive lie, that you can delay the fading, that you can cheat death for a little longer, that you can keep this form forever if you just buy the right product. You exercise not for the joy of movement, not to feel the wind in your hair, but because of the fear of illness. You run on treadmills like a hamster to outrun your mortality. You diet not to enjoy natural flavors of the earth, but to control body metrics and fit into a standard. You work laboriously to buy sturdy houses with high fences. You buy expensive insurance packages to hedge against every possible disaster. It is as if building thicker walls will help the ego inside be safe permanently from the forces of nature. We identify ourselves completely with appearance, with health, with personal biography. We think, I am this face, I am this job, I am this history. We spend our whole lives polishing the mask, painting the role we are playing, to make it look more substantial. We think that if we become healthier, richer, more famous, more admired, then this ego will become more real, more solid, more permanent. But paradoxically, the more you try to cling to the body, the more you suffer, because change is the immutable law of the universe, the only constant truth. Every wrinkle appearing is a slap in the face of your effort to stay young. Every ache in your joints is a cruel reminder that time is winning. The more you cherish this form, the more terrified you are when seeing it slip out of your hands like sand. You are like a person trying to hold tight a handful of water in the hand. The tighter you squeeze your fingers to hold the water, the faster the water flows away through the cracks. You are trying to turn a flow into a rock. You are trying to turn a dynamic, ever-changing process into a static, frozen object. And that war against nature, against the very flow of life, only leads to mental exhaustion. You become a slave of the very body you think you are mastering. You are serving the vehicle instead of enjoying the ride. But let me invite you to stop for a moment in this frantic race. Take a deep breath and consider a completely different possibility. A possibility that can turn everything you ever believed about yourself upside down. What if I told you that the feeling I am in the body is just a hallucination? What if it is a trick of the mind, a persistent optical illusion? What if this body is not a cage imprisoning you? And also not your boundary, not where you end. Look at science. Look at what we actually know about biology and physics. Biologists tell us that the human body is not a solid and fixed object like a statue. It is more like a flame than a stone. Think about a flame on a candle. It looks like a thing with a shape, but it is actually a stream of hot gas and energy burning constantly. Your body is the same. Every second that passes, millions of cells in your body die and are replaced by new ones. Your skin sheds and regenerates, creating a new layer every few weeks. Your blood is filtered and renewed constantly. Your bones, seemingly sturdy and hard like concrete, are also in the process of constantly changing structure. People calculate that after about 7 years, almost all the atoms in your body have been completely replaced. Every single atom. So then ask yourself this question: are you of 7 years ago and you of now the same thing? In terms of matter, the answer is absolute no. Not a single piece of matter from the past remains in your current form. You have been completely recycled, but you still feel you are you. You still have the feeling of continuity, of an identity that persists through time. So what is that ego if it is not the mass of matter composing this body? If you are not, the bricks are you, the design. Look further into your connection with the world. We often think skin is the border separating me inside and the outside world out there. We treat skin like a wall of a fortress. But that is a disastrous confusion. Skin is not a wall. Skin is a bridge. Skin is a permeable membrane connecting two worlds. Look at your breath right now. You breathe air in and you breathe air out. Where does the outside air end and you begin? Air outside goes in becoming inside, entering your blood, becoming you, then goes out again to become the world. You stop breathing for a few minutes, you die. Look at food. You eat plants, animals from the environment. You take the not me and turn it into me. They turn into your flesh and blood and bones. You are literally made of the world around you. Look at sunlight. If there were no sun millions of miles away warming up the planet, your body would freeze into a block of ice immediately. The truth is undeniable. You cannot exist independently for even a second if separated from the surrounding environment. There is no absolute boundary between your body and the universe. It is all one continuous field of energy and matter. What you call my body is essentially just an energy flow. It is a temporary concentration of elements from the universe, gathering together for a brief dance, then dissolving back into the source, constantly exchanging with the environment like a whirlpool exchanges water with the river. You did not come into this world like a stranger walking into a room from the street. You came from this world like a leaf growing out of a tree branch. You are an outgrowth of the earth. You are an action of the universe. You are the way the universe is peopling at this location and this time. Just like the ocean waves, the universe is you-ing. Therefore, your true nature is not that finite aging form over there in the mirror. Your true nature is the entire magnificent process operating that form. You are the universe itself, acting the role of a human. To understand this better, imagine a very beautiful and powerful image, a whirlpool in a river. Picture a fast-flowing river. Look down at the water. Occasionally you will see a whirlpool appear near a rock or a bend. It has a clear shape, a definite form. It spins, it moves, it has a location. You can point at it and say, that is a whirlpool. You can name it Whirlpool A. You can measure its size, its speed, but ask yourself a crucial question. What is that whirlpool made of? It is made of water. It is made of the river itself. Is there any boundary truly cutting the whirlpool off from the river? Is there a skin separating the whirlpool water from the river water? No. Water constantly flows into the whirlpool, spins a few rounds, giving it shape, then flows out. The whirlpool does not keep any drop of water for itself. It is a pattern, not an object. Its existence depends completely on the flow of the entire river. You are exactly that whirlpool. Your body is a complex vortex pattern of energy and matter, food, air, water, light, information constantly flow into you. They spin around, creating the human form, maintaining your structure, then flow out. You try to cling to the water drops, cells, assets, memories, and say, this is me. You try to freeze the whirlpool, but the river keeps flowing. If you block the flow to keep water inside, the whirlpool will disappear. It will die. The whirlpool only exists thanks to continuous letting go. thanks to letting the new come in and the old go out without resistance. Or imagine another metaphor that Alan Watts often used, an electric light bulb. When you look at a lit light bulb, you see a brilliant spot of light. It looks steady, constant. But that spot of light does not stand still. It is the electric current running through the tungsten filament continuously. Electrons run through, vibrating the atoms, making the filament heat up and glow, then run on down the wire. It is a stream, not a pool. If you cut the current, the light goes out instantly. You are not the glass bulb. That is just the container. You are also not the filament. That is just the mechanism. You are the current. You are the energy itself. This body is just where the cosmic current passes through and glows for a moment in time. We fear death because we think we are the fragile glass bulb that can shatter. But if you know you are the current, you will understand something profound. When this bulb breaks, the current is not lost at all. The electricity does not die. It simply no longer manifests in the form of light at that specific point anymore. It is still there, latent potential, ready to shine in another place through another bulb or return to the source generator. So when realizing we are the whirlpool, are the current, not isolated matter, how must we live? How does this change our daily existence? We do not need to try to escape this body or deny its reality. We also do not need to deny its desires or fears or pains. That is utopian and impractical. Instead, we learn a new art, the art of being a witness, the art of observing the flow without drowning in it. Try practicing this in your daily life. When you feel pain in your body, do not say, "I hurt." Do not identify the I with the pain. Say, there is a sensation of pain happening. There is a tension in the leg. Observe that pain like you observe a black cloud flying across the sky. You are not the cloud. You are the sky observing it. Do not tense up fighting against it, wishing it away. Do not identify yourself with it thinking, "My life is miserable." You are the sky, vast and untouched by the clouds passing through. When you feel aging, when you see that new wrinkle, do not panic. Look in the mirror and smile at the process of nature. Say, "This whirlpool is changing shape. Truly interesting. The current is flowing differently now." Observe the aging process like observing a leaf changing color in autumn. The leaf turns from green to yellow, then brown, then falls down to the earth. That is a beautiful dance of nature, not a tragedy to be mourned. It is the cycle of life completing itself. Loosen the grip of the fake ego. The ego in your head is a control freak. It always tries to control everything from your heartbeat to the future. It is like a person sitting on a roller coaster who keeps trying to lean to steer the train. They grip the safety bar until their knuckles are white, thinking their leaning makes a difference. That is useless and only makes you tired, stressed, and unable to enjoy the ride. Relax the steering wheel. Let go of the illusion of control. Let life happen through you. Let the breath breathe itself. You don't need to pull it in. Let the heart beat itself. You don't need to command it. Let cells multiply and destroy themselves according to their ancient laws. You do not need to make yourself live. You are being lived by a greater intelligence. The power operating the stars in the galaxies. The power making tides rise and fall in the oceans. The power making trees sprout from tiny seeds. Is the exact same power reading these lines through your eyes right now. It knows what to do. You do not need to help it. You just need to enjoy the ride and witness the miracle. Liberation does not come from making this body immortal, which is impossible. Liberation comes from realizing that what is looking through your eyes is never born and never dies. It is the eternal witness. And this is the final truth, a great secret that sages have whispered for thousands of years in caves and temples. You are the universe experiencing itself. You are not a biological accident on a lonely planet. You are not a puppet of fate thrown into a random world. You are the way this universe perceives itself. You are the sensory organ of the divine. The universe took billions of years of evolution, through thousands of star explosions, creating carbon and iron, through the combination of countless atoms in the primordial soup, just to create your eyes, your brain, your nervous system, so it can gaze at the starry sky and see its own beauty, so it can taste the sweetness of an apple and know joy, so it can feel love and pain and know the depth of existence. Without you, the universe would have no one to admire it. It would be invisible to itself. It would be like a magnificent play performed in a theater with no audience, a silent symphony. You are both the actor on stage and the audience in the seats. Death, the thing we fear most, is actually just awakening from a dream. It is taking off the mask at the end of the play. When you die, the illusion that I am a separate individual will shatter. The wall of the ego will crumble. And you will realize you were never that individual at all. You were always the ocean pretending to be a wave. Human death is like a wave crashing onto the shore and dissolving into foam. The form of the wave disappears. But the water does not disappear. It returns to the immense ocean bosom, to the depth, to then rise again in a new form, a new wave, a new adventure in time. Therefore, do not live like a parasite on this earth, fearful and small. Live like a master. Live like you belong here because you are the earth itself. Do not walk on tiptoes as if you are afraid of disturbing the universe. You are the universe. Live fully. Love passionately, holding nothing back. Suffer deeply when pain comes. Do not run from it. Laugh heartily when joy comes. Let it fill you. Do not try to preserve this shell forever like a museum piece. Use it until it is worn out, like a child playing with a favorite toy, with all their might, until it breaks full of memories and scratches. Because you know that when the game ends, when the velvet curtain closes on this life, you lose nothing at all. You simply take off this tight costume that you have worn for a few decades, to return to your true form, a form with no boundaries, no beginning, and no ending. That is you. That is truly you.